Hey guys, this is Brent with Western Equipment, and today I'm going to be showing you how to safely operate the John Deere 3038E. This will consist of going over the controls, going over safe operating techniques, and preventative maintenance. So let's get started. Before going over the controls, I want to show you how to safely enter the operator station. You're going to use 3 points of contact, one being on this handrail, another on the steering wheel, and your third on the step below the platform. Once you enter the operator station and get seated, next thing you need to do is fasten your seatbelt. Third thing would be to adjust your seat fore and aft to put you in the most comfortable position to operate all of the controls within the operator station. Now let's go over the hand controls on the right hand side of the machine and then the foot controls. First that I would point out would be your ignition right below the steering wheel. Next to the right of the steering wheel is going to be your hand throttle. Up for fast speed, down for slow speed. To the right we have our loader joystick here. This is a 4-way joystick. As you go right, that dumps the bucket down. To the left, tilts the bucket up. Up lowers the boom down. Down raises the boom up. If you need more guidance on that, we do have a sticker right below the lever here. To the right of the joystick lever, you do have a lockout button here. Pushed in allows the loader joystick to function. Pulled out locks the joystick in position. This is a safety feature for you when you're working underneath the hood of the machine or out in front to allow this lever to not be bumped, which could consequently lower the loader down on top of you. To my right here on our console we have a yellow PTO engagement button. Next to me here in the seat is going to be our raise and lower for our 3-point arms along with the locking mechanism here. Now moving down onto the platform to our foot controls, what you see here are our twin touch pedals. This is going to be a 2-step pedal system for forward and reverse. Notice as I'm using those, I can rest my heel directly on the foot platform to make myself comfortable and just simply move my foot back and forth between forward and reverse. Being that this is a hydrostatic transmission means that you do not have a clutch to operate this machine. So from here, let's move to the left-hand side and go over those controls. On the left side of the tractor, to the left of the steering wheel, we have our automotive style control panel, turn signals, hazard signals, headlight selector. To the left of the seat, we have our gear selector for high, neutral, and low. Below the gear selector, we have our automotive style parking brake, up to engage, down to disengage. To the right of the parking brake, we have our 4-wheel drive selector, up for on, down for off. In front of that, we have our service brake. Now let's show you how to safely operate the tractor. Before getting on the tractor, take a few minutes to perform your pre-trip inspection. First thing we need to check is our rollover protection system, making sure it's in the upright and locked position and keeping it there at all times. Next, moving down here to our rear wheels, we want to check our tread level, our tire pressure, and our lug tightness. Moving down the side of the tractor, we need to take the time to stop and fully read our danger, warning, and caution labels, as these will save your life. Moving down the tractor, we're going to check for any welds or cracks in the boom frame here, and also visually inspecting all of our hydraulic hoses and fittings for any leaks or damage. Here on the bucket, I want to take the time to make sure to check that it is pinned and seated in the top hook on both sides for that safe travel. Here on the side of the tractor, we also want to take a minute to kneel down and look for any leakage or spillage underneath the tractor that could potentially cause you problems. Here at the rear of the tractor, we want to make sure that if our box blade is not hooked up, that we have this top link pinned in, we have our cap on our PTO shaft, and make sure that our drawbar is pinned in safely. Now, if you're going to be towing something or hooking up a chain, the drawbar is the only place to hook that up safely. Also here at the rear of the tractor, and lastly before getting on, we want to make sure and check our diesel level. So now from here, let's get on the tractor and show you how to operate. Before safely operating your tractor, make sure that your seatbelt is fastened, and remember, one seatbelt, one seat means one operator and no passengers at all times. Next thing we're going to do is check our surroundings, looking for any obstacles in front or behind that could hinder us from that safe operation. Next, we're going to start the tractor, first putting our foot on the brake, turning the key, making sure that our gear shift is in neutral, and then starting the tractor. Next step will be adjusting our loader level to that optimum height for safe travel and also for direct line of sight in front of you. So while doing that, I'll show you the operation of the loader, pulling back for up, forward for down, right for bucket dump, and left for bucket curl. We'll shift into low gear. Next, we'll release our parking brake, and now we are ready for travel. Keep in mind when operating and traveling in this machine that it does steer with power steering just like a car. But this machine is not a car, and we need to be mindful of the speed in which we are taking those turns. We also need to keep in mind our length, as with the bucket and no box blade, we are right above 12 feet long, and with the box blade on, we'll be a tick above 14 feet long. So from there, we'll show you how the pedals work here. We have a forward pedal on our left and a reverse on our right. So as I depress these pedals, you'll notice the faster I push on the pedal, the faster the tractor goes, and the faster or slower that I let off, the faster or slower it comes to a stop. Now keep in mind, as I was driving, I was looking in the direction I was heading. Same thing when I go in reverse. I'll depress the pedal, the faster I push, the faster I go, and the faster I let off, the quicker that I stop. Now notice, as I pulled completely off of that pedal, I came to a very sudden stop. So you need to be very mindful as to how you're depressing and letting off of those pedals so that you're traveling safely. Finally here, parking the tractor. First thing that we'll do is put our foot on the brake. We'll lower our loader to the ground, set our parking brake, and shift into neutral, and then we can turn the tractor off and get off of the tractor. So two other safety notes that I would keep in mind is that if you get in that situation where you're operating on a slope or you're in one of those upset or overturned situations, if the tractor starts to tip, never take your seatbelt off and try to jump off of the tractor. You're a lot safer if you're holding on to the steering wheel firm and leaning away from the fall and keeping yourself within the protective system here. Also, while you're operating, try to avoid any of those hills or inclines that you can, avoiding potholes or ditches, as those also could turn into those upset or overturned situations. Another tip is if you're off of the tractor and it starts to roll away from you, never touch it or try to jump on to stop the tractor. Let it continue to roll to a safe stop and then go back to your working. From here, let's look at preventative maintenance. Starting here at the front of the tractor, let's go over our PM checks. First thing you're going to need is a key of any kind to push in and release this pop button. First thing you will see is the battery here at the very bottom. Moving back, we have our engine coolant overflow tank. Moving further back here, we have our engine air filter. Now moving down to the bottom of the tractor here on the front axle, we have our differential oil dipstick and fill. Behind that, we have our fuel filter, our engine oil filter, and our fuel water separator filter. Above this, we have our engine oil dipstick. Moving out to the side of the tractor here, we have these 6 grease points on the loader, 6 on this side, and 6 on the other. When needing to check those hours for those maintenance intervals, we're going to take our key, insert it, turn it to the on position, and those hours will display there on the screen. Moving to the rear of the tractor, 2 more things. We're going to have our transmission oil dipstick and also our transmission oil fill. So in recap, what you've seen in this video are the controls, safe operating procedures, and PM checks. If you have any other questions, please call Western Equipment. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Key safety tips and maintenance points, and start over because I'm butchering it.
It's so hard to make this guy look good.
Make sure your feet belt. We have our turn signals. That red triangle thing. Golly. Hazard signals. Make sure and look in front of you for any obstacles. Doing the hokey pokey. To safely operate. Moving back to the back of the backpack. Moving on back, we have our engine oil. Oh my gosh, that's a big engine oil filter there. Here at the front axle, we have our differential. Hey! So thank you so much for watching. If you have any other questions, feel free to call us at Western Equipment.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.